Welcome back to Kryptolytix, giving you a fresh take on crypto analytics, and this is your Solana ecosystem recap, where I cover some of the things going on in the Solana space. So let's jump in. Okay, so here we are. We'll start over here on the chart for Solana. So we had a pretty nice run over the last few days, and I was posting a play-by-play regular updates on X. So if you follow me over there, you've probably seen a lot of this stuff in real time. We'll go have a look at those posts so I can show you what I was seeing and what I did when I was seeing it. But we did actually reach all the way up to 194, which was pretty good, before now starting a move to the downside. Now, let's come over here to what I posted on the 23rd of July then, shall we? So this was my post over here. I saw 3 signals to take profit a little on my Sol position. So I've got a Sol long open. I've got 2 of them. One's on Drift and the other is on Zeta Markets. They're my biggest Sol positions. I've also got one on Blowfin as well. And with regards to this, they were all sitting around the same place, around 135, 137, 140-ish. Then they were using different strategies. So that's the reason why I've got different positions open, because I trade different strategies. So I like to have different exchanges that isolate the different strategies, and that's how I keep track of the performance. So what I was saying is that Bitcoin just completed what looks like a 5-wave impulsive move off the lows, smashing past resistance, which is a great sign. So I covered Bitcoin in yesterday's video, so you can go and check that out if you'd like. And I covered the Elliott wave counts there. But it was the end of that wave count. So generally at the end of that count, we get some sort of consolidation or some sort of correction. And as long as it is a ABC corrective pattern, it's all good. And we're still on track for more bullish expansion to the upside. So I was just saying, I'm expecting a potential pullback from here on BTC around 64K, give or take. Actually, my targets are a little lower than that now, but about 60 to 62, I would say. It's probably better. But I mean, 64 is like conservative, as in if things maintain their bullish momentum, then 64 is pretty much I would say a realistic target, which we almost got to actually. Let's have a look. It got to about 64,362, but I'm actually expecting it price to come down into this liquidity zone, which again, I covered in a great level of detail yesterday, so I won't go into too much on that, but I'm expecting a sweep of these lows and then hopefully a breakout of this downsloping trend line here and then bullish continuation. How long that will take, that completely is up to the market really. But nevertheless, as I said, give or take a little. I'm not expecting it to be too big, but in this case, it's all about dips for buying. So Sol signals that I saw were the pivot surge or CBI, which is this one right here. So that's your pivot surge on the 12-hour chart. Also, that one's got the Heikin-Ashi super trend down the bottom there, which was the support that I was looking for a retest back at this point. So my target was 167 per Sol, and I said we may not even get there because you never know with this sort of stuff. You know, that is one thing when we get bullish expansion is sometimes your downside targets might not be met. So that's why I just thought I'd mention that. And the other thing I mentioned was the 4-hour LT XLX, which is this one right here. And I'll show that what that is in a minute, but that's a indicator that I paid for, and it's pretty handy because it shows oversold or overbought conditions, and that's just sitting on top of the Ichimoku trend meter. So that's what that bar is right there. This is the Ichimoku trend meter, and that's the LT XLX sitting on top of it. So that's what I was looking at the time, and my re-add, so my buy target was down there. Now we pretty much hit that. So I did cover in this post here on the 26th that we're finally around where I expected we would pull back to on Sol. Failing here and failing to hold this area of support, 160 would be the next target, which is the 21-day EMA. And that's probably roughly about the same now. So we'll have a look at those in a minute, those moving averages. But that's what I was looking at just in case we did break below that. And as you can see on the next post that I posted, which was on the 29th of July, we literally came out of that zone. You can see we also put in a buy signal right there on the pivot surge and right into the support, very nicely filled that. And then we came up straight out of there up to 188 and then progressed past 188 and into the 190 zone. So quite a nice move and reaction off that level. So that was pretty much my play-by-play. I had the rebuy. Also, I noticed a few other things on the weekend. When the leverage, or the open interest, I should say, on Bitcoin was really, really, really high at about $7 billion, I actually shaved a decent amount of profit off this long because I was expecting a pullback on Bitcoin and then I guess the whole market I assumed the whole market would follow suit in line with that. And that was around here at around the 185 level, that about 185.8 or thereabouts, where I took a bit of profit off of this long just because of that. And also we had this big rejection. So I saw this big rejection on, this is a daily candle. Usually I've got this chart on the 4 hour though. So let's have a look and see here. A pivot surge sell. I just ignored these because I didn't really need to worry about it at that stage. But when I saw that Bitcoin's open interest was at 7 billion, I was like, well, maybe it's time to look at some of the sell signals and see what I can see. And as soon as we came down just that little bit, I just thought, okay, maybe it's time to de-risk a little and then put in some buy orders down here in this area. That's where I have got some buy orders kind of laddered because I'm expecting a Bitcoin pullback. I also am looking at this level right here, that 161.40 level, which is the bull market support band right here. So you can see this right here, these lines here. These are the bull market support band at the moment. So that's definitely a level that I'm looking at for support, but also this area right here, this blue box. I'm looking at this being a relatively decent support as well for me to load back up on my long trade, because I'm expecting this pullback to be quite temporary. Again, go into a lot of detail on this in my Bitcoin video, so I won't go into too much of the detail here, but just enough. So essentially what we're looking at here is, well, I'll probably end up getting a sell signal here as well, because we've broken down below of the Heikin-Ashi super trend. So in terms of the play-by-play, essentially what we had is I had this sell signal here, which was where I took profit at this level right here. Price went down. I had the buy order right here. Price went back up. And then we came down and it was around here where I took some profit off of this long to then re-add in this level right here. So it's been pretty good so far, as in just being able to do this play by play and just readjusting my position. But as you can see down the bottom, we still have a blue trend meter down the bottom there. And the trend meter is the TK cross trend meter. So it's using the Ichimoku cloud. Now there's one thing I'm actually seeing. If we pull this panel up, we've got a bearish divergence on the RSI. So that's definitely something worth considering. We did get a hidden bullish divergence, which is usually really good, but right now we did get a bearish divergence right here. So you can see that the tops here are higher on price, but the RSI has got a lower high. You can see that this top here is lower on the RSI than this top here. So essentially that's put in a bearish divergence. And right now, as long as we hold above this level here with regards to price action, which we might not do, we may actually come down a little bit below it. So that's a thing as well. But at least with regards to that, then we might end up putting in another hidden bullish divergence as well. So if we get a higher low here to this one, so if this is a higher low and that's the end of the correction, which I'm not so sure we are at the end of it, but anyway, if this does happen and we have the RSI even lower right here than what it was here and also here, so that's this low as well. So we can just connect those up. So yeah, you can see that the lows on price action are higher and the RSI lows are getting lower. So based on that, that's a double hidden bullish divergence. That would be pretty good. Don't know if that will play out, but if it does, that would be incredibly bullish. But nevertheless, I'm still adding to longs here, and any pullbacks that we get, I'm going to just load up more aggressively into my long trade. And that is why I was happy to de-risk in this area here, because of just looking at Bitcoin, just looking at the Bitcoin price action and going from there. But if we get a 12-hour candle close, because this is a lagging indicator, below this 175.86 level, which you can see is right here, then that would probably trigger this to a sell. And I would consider taking a short just in case, because we might come down to some lower levels, admittedly. I would say at the moment, this area here would be another support because it was prior resistance. So turn to future support. So that's coming in at like 160 up a little bit. So we can call this a new support. But nevertheless, again, as I said, all of these opportunities for me they're all sort of buying opportunities really. So that's the sort of play-by-play and sort of what I was seeing, at least with regards to short-term price action on Solana. Long and short, we definitely had a bearish divergence on the RSI, but we also had a hidden bullish divergence, and we might be getting a double hidden bullish divergence if that's the end of the pullback. But I'm expecting a little lower on Bitcoin, so we might not get that double hidden bullish divergence, admittedly. Looking at basic trend lines, we did get a break here as well. So that's another thing to factor in right here. We've got this trend line here, which is from here all the way up to there. So that's, connecting all of these wicks here. I could adjust it to here, but it's still a break technically. So we might be getting that classic break of trendline and then maybe a retest and then come back down into this zone here potentially, which is sitting at around that 164, 165 level right there. You can see that's about 165 right there. And then maybe just to take out any liquidity here. So we'd have a lot of stop losses right there. So maybe we might deviate back and then come back in and collect ourselves and then maybe get rejected from here and then go up from there. We'll have to see how it plays out, obviously, but this is me basing potential price action on what I'm seeing for Bitcoin, because everything just follows Bitcoin, right? So that's pretty much it, I think. That's the play-by-play. That's what I've been seeing for Solana, and this is how I've been trading, and I've been posting regular updates as well with regards to what I've been doing on the Solana trade. So, but I did just post this morning, so I think this is probably something I'd more cover on my Bitcoin video, but like this way, like I'll just say this: if the news played such an important role with the short-term price action on Bitcoin, then why did technical analysis already tell us we were likely expecting a move down from these levels? And the levels I'm talking about is this post that I shared where we were up at about 67K, and I was like, I think we're due for a pullback just to complete this Elliott wave expanded flat move to then sweep these lows. This is why I didn't watch the Jerome Powell speech. I'm seeing a lot of panic in the market. So I'm definitely on my X and on my timeline seeing a lot of panic. But all I can say is we really don't have anything to worry about above 60K for Bitcoin, right? As I mentioned on yesterday's video where I covered all of this in depth. Stay calm and trust the process. We're still in a bull market. So that's just all I can say. If you're feeling a little bit panicked about this pullback, this is just me, reassuring that this is a normal pattern that plays out with regards to a correction after a 5-wave expansive move, and we didn't quite get low enough, right? And I said this in yesterday's video, but we didn't quite get low enough here on this A. So that's why I was expecting a C just to sweep the lows of here, right? So that's kind of what I'm expecting here. Just a liquidity grab by the market makers. People say market manipulation, all that sort of stuff, but it's very typical. So let's get into the news and some updates in the Solana ecosystem, because price action is one thing. It's going to be ebbing and flowing and doing this or that, but let's have a look at some more interesting stuff with regards to the actual ecosystem as a whole. And remember, I don't trade the news, but with regards to DeFi and how Solana develops, this is where news and events and developments within the ecosystem are important to me. So we got this post here from Marty Party, and I did see it doing the rounds as well. So here, breaking: Solana is no longer defined as a security by the SEC. So this has been a major headwind for us, right? With regards to regulation, is Gary Gensler and his ilk were just slapping securities label on Solana and a number of other altcoins in various cases, like the Coinbase case, maybe the Robinhood case as well. But also this one is with regards to the Binance case. So there's a pretty good chance that if they've done this on the Binance case, then there's a pretty good chance that on the Coinbase case, this will also be scrubbed out as well. Moves to amend their complaint against Binance seeks to no longer prove tokens such as Solana are securities. The SEC informed defendants that it intends to seek to amend its complaint, including with respect to third-party crypto asset securities as defined in the SEC's omnibus opposition to defendants' motion to dismiss, obviating the need for the court to issue a ruling as to the sufficiency of allegations to those tokens at this time. So it wasn't just Solana that was mentioned in this court hearing. We had ADA, Solana, Matic, Sand, Filecoin. So this is Sandbox, Filecoin, and Mana of Decentralized are no longer securities to the SEC at this moment in time. So, I mean, that's obviously could change at any moment, right? But here's the document. So this is definitely a good sign for us. And what I said to this is lock in. Regulatory uncertainty clearance is our path to much larger financial institutions filing for a SOL ETF. So as we already know, we've got the ARK Invest 21 shares application. We've got the one from VanEck. So this is, your path to your BlackRocks and such also filing for Solana ETF, right? So this is why it's kind of important for us. And I did show this in yesterday's video by Crypto Nogla, this post, where he speculates that Sol is going to $1,000 and many alts will skyrocket and 100x. And he created a full thread on it, just going over the actual post itself. Also, the difference between Solana and something like Ethereum, for example, is Solana is a much smaller asset, right? Its market cap is tiny compared to Ethereum and Bitcoin. So anything like a BlackRock ETF for Solana would be incredible growth potential for Solana's price. I mean, this would be pretty sweet, right? If this is us here right now. I don't know about that. Like, let's have a look. I'm going to go into detail about something like this happening and what the market cap would have to be and how much market cap dominance would have to be based on where I think we'll be at least the end of this cycle. But this is going to 2034. So, I mean, anything could happen in that time, right? And then he goes into Jupiter, Honky, and a bunch of other things like different ecosystem coins. So that's fine. We can move on from that. So definitely some bullish stuff brewing for us now that Solana's not being classified as a security is definitely a big thing. And it means that, you know, your BlackRocks and other large institutions can probably with more confidence apply for something like a Sol ETF. Obviously, another dependent factor is what the US government decides to do. So if Harris wins the election, then it might be a little bit difficult to pass an ETF or something like that for something like Solana. But with these moves from the SEC, I think that even if the Dems do win the election, then there's still a decent chance for it to pass. Obviously, there's a much stronger chance for it to pass with a Republican victory in the election, but with the Dems, it would be still a possibility, especially with all of these labels being removed from assets like Solana. So we have here some on-chain stuff. We've got breaking. Solana's monthly active addresses hits a new all-time high. Active addresses just constantly coming in to the fray. So that's just an Artemis chart here. And this information is valid as of yesterday. So this is up to date. Putting in new all-time highs constantly. So there you go. Solana's on-chain usage is well and truly in full effect. Anyone that I know in my personal life is joining Team Solana, right? One of the first things I just say is get a Phantom wallet, get Jupiter, and yeah, check out the on-rampers. So you don't even need to use a centralized exchange and then go from there. So this is a thing as well, right? People like me, if you know anyone like me in your life, then, you know, I'm the guy. That's just like, yeah, so I'll set it up for you, essentially. So this is like our fresh addresses, right? These are the fresh addresses and they stay active, which is really cool as well because it's fast, it's cheap, but it's also being mentioned a lot on mainstream news, you know, like CNBC and all that sort of stuff. Like you hear Solana being dropped, just the name of it being dropped pretty frequently. So I think that's giving people a lot more confidence in its reliability and trustworthiness as a chain. So I think that helps. Even if you don't like mainstream media and all that sort of stuff, like it still helps us. So it's all good. So I did briefly touch on before, like potential price targets for Solana. I'm going to go into a little bit more detail here. So this is my post here. So I might be getting ahead of myself here, but I still believe that by the end of this cycle, we will hit a total crypto market capitalization of $10 trillion. Now, if we have a look at the total crypto market cap, technically we have not breached the all-time high yet. So sure, Bitcoin has put in a new all-time high. But if you have a look here, you can see quite clearly that the market capitalization was sitting at around 3 trillion, just over 3 trillion. We still haven't actually breached that level yet. So that would be a bit over a 3x from here once we enter that crazy expansive phase. But for the most part, this has been taken up by, I think, Ethereum, Solana, and Bitcoin for the most part, with some altcoins putting in some pretty decent moves. But at the moment, all we've really done is we've come to price structure tops, Pico tops, that have created a resistance level, which is right here. So we still haven't broken that. But 3 trillion is the level to beat with regards to that. And that would be a 3x from here, which isn't too crazy, right? Isn't too crazy. Because we had 2017 was a 300% move from there. And if we have a look here, I mean, the difference between then and now is that we've got institutional adoption on the horizon, right? That's about 227% move, as you can see right there. So not too crazy, I wouldn't say. 300, 227%, not too crazy. Happened before, right? That's the whole purpose of looking at this chart. So 10 trillion, I think, is pretty reasonable. One thing that I've also been occasionally posting on X, and I've covered it in these videos as well, is the Solana dominance. So my target is about a 5% Solana dominance for the end of this cycle of the total market cap. So that would be about an $800 Sol, as you can see right there. And with regards to this, I think potentially with all of the adoption and things like the ETF and all this sort of stuff, and with the market cap being so low on Solana, with it being about 30 billion or thereabouts versus $500 billion and 1.5 for Bitcoin, roughly, there's a lot more upside potential for us, right? So in this post, I said, imagine though, if Solana dominance hits 10%, right? So in this ideal world, Solana would hit a valuation of $1,600. So here's the math and how I work out what the price would be. So as you can see here, based on the math here, so we've got $10 trillion, which is the market cap I mentioned before, which we could potentially hit. And that's 10% of that. And this is the supply of Solana, right? So that would hit a $1,600 level. based on this calculations. Someone also said though, and I wouldn't think this would hit, but on the last cycle, the third coin was 15 to 17% dominance by market cap. That would be Solana hitting 2,398. Sorry, those numbers are huge, but that was just a crop of the same calculation essentially. But it's pretty interesting. Again, so my target is about $800 personally. That's Solana market cap dominance of about 5%. And my thinking of that is based on, let's have a look here, the fact that we're just keep hitting all-time highs on the Solana dominance. So on the weekend, right here, we hit a Solana dominance all-time high of about 3.7%. So if we have a look here, what's the all-time high now? 5% is about 34% increase of the all-time high, but we just keep hitting these all-time highs, right? So we took out highs here. So this was the old all-time high and we took it out there. This was on March. We put in our all-time high sitting at around there, about the same level actually, to be honest. And we've just breached it a little bit to put in that 3.69% or roughly 3.7%. So it's not outside of the realm of feasibility that we could potentially hit 5%, especially with all of the adoption, which I've showed in many of my videos and a lot of my posts. It's just having a 5% target for dominance, I think is pretty fair. And I would say is quite reasonable. So imagine if we did hit a 10% of that, right? Imagine if we did hit 10% of the 10 trillion, $1,600 Sol. You know, are you ready? Are you ready for it? That would be pretty amazing. And also a post here by Gumshoe, which goes into a little bit of detail. Sold to 320 minimum backed by data. So this is probably a bit more of a conservative compared to my like hyper bullish post before. But we got here this post by Gumshoe. So in their last post saw some criticism for not including L2s in ETH. So this is comparing ETH's on-chain data to Solana's on-chain data. And I think this is good to actually, when you're comparing Solana to Ethereum, to compare with all of the L2s as well, right? Because they also represent on-chain data for Ethereum as well. So we've got here some dot points. We got Ethereum is $0.3 volume per $1 of TVL. So this is comparing total value locked. This is DeFi. Solana is $2.81 volume per $1 of TVL. Ethereum is 4.39 times larger than Solana by fully diluted values. That's your market cap. Solana volume represents 40% of Ethereum plus L2s combined. Wow. So Solana's cheaper, faster, easier to use, way more capital efficient, and highly mispriced relative to the Ethereum ecosystem. And as he says here, of course, there are so many other data points and narratives that would push this price target much higher. We'll be covering them in the future. So this is pretty good. I quite liked this post. This was on July 24th, so a couple of weeks ago now. So this definitely puts some things into perspective with regards to Solana versus ETH and its L2s. And another thing we have to consider as well with regards to potential sell pressure that would suppress the price of Solana. Well, I was actually having a look because I think maybe the US government just sold 30,000 Bitcoin yesterday. They may have just sent it to another wallet, admittedly, but maybe they plan on selling it, not really sure. It could be the US Marshals sending some of the Bitcoin to Coinbase custody, so we're not really sure. But in terms of potential selling pressure, if the Dems decide to start selling off their assets, what do we got here? 50,000 ETH, 121 million USDT, 40 million BNB, and 10 million USDC, and 183,000 Bitcoin. This was higher, but overnight they sold. And now they have less Bitcoin than China. They did have more, but now they have less. Unless they didn't sell it, in which case then they still have more than China, I guess. But they don't have any Solana. So that's pretty sweet. So if we have a look at the Arkham intelligence chart here, they've just got wrapped Bitcoin that's on Ethereum. So I guess you probably would have to add these up, right? 750, that's probably not that many. But yeah, they've got mainly stable coins, really. They've just got a bunch of stable coins, BNB, Ethereum, and Bitcoin. So yeah, it looks like the US government doesn't have any Solana, not that we are aware of anyway, so it's less selling pressure for us if they decide to just start dumping their holdings for whatever reason, just out of spite or whatever reason it may be, we don't know. But again, that's just one thing, one headwind we don't have to worry about with regards to Solana, right? Okay, let's run through the rest of the news. And this is one thing I saw that was really cool. So if anyone remembers, Leonardo AI started utilizing IONET. So IONET is a GPU sharing dApp that you can utilize as render, all that sort of stuff. If you've got a really powerful graphics card, you can create a cluster and you can share your GPU resources for the processing of AI related tasks, right? So, I mean, they did their airdrop, they did all this sort of stuff. I'm sure you've heard about them. So it's crowdsourced GPU processing facilitated by Solana. And guess what's happened? So now Canva just acquired Leonardo AI. So that means that Canva is huge, right? Canva is absolutely massive. A lot of people are using it now instead of Photoshop, especially people using it for professional design related applications. And you can see here, like they have purchased them now. So that means that whenever someone in Canva uses AI generative imagery that uses Leonardo AI, there's a chance that your graphics card will be used to power a Canva AI image generation event. Now, this is how DePIN and crypto breaks into the mainstream, right? Because Leonardo AI is really good. Like I've used it a number of times. They've got a little bit of like video AI stuff as well, but I think they're more focused on the imagery generation. Technically, we'll be using IONET and the Solana blockchain. And this is definitely how we get DePIN into the mainstream. It's just like through applications building out, dApps and stuff like that facilitate crypto that work on the back end, and then big even Web 2 applications, either buying or utilizing services from these Web 3 or these applications that are Web 2 and Web 3 hybrid. Essentially what we get is we get the usage of Solana without anyone knowing it's even happening. And that's kind of like your mobile phone services and stuff like that. Like you don't really know how the IMSI and all of the cellular triangulation and all that sort of stuff works. You don't really know how that stuff works. It just works, right? You've got a phone, you pick it up, it's got reception, you make a call. Things are happening on the back end, but you don't really know what service is being used. Same as the internet with HTTPS for encryption and all that sort of stuff. Like there's all of these things and these services that your computer is utilizing that you don't even know what they are, how they work. It's just, does the internet work or not, right? So this is pretty much what DePIN will be, I would say, in the future. And really, like Solana is absolutely breaking ahead with regards to this. And this is why I'm super bullish, right? So this is really, really cool. We also have here that Sonar watch, which is a portfolio tracker that I've mentioned many times in my videos before. They now have an airdrop checker. So as far as I'm aware, it's not working right now. At least it's not for me, but at least I was able to see Cloud, Jupiter, and all sorts of other airdrops and stuff on there as well. But you can check your allocation for any wallet. You can get detailed information about each claim, so claim date, value, status, etc. And you can check up to 12 wallets in a row. So pretty cool. When it works, it's pretty cool. But I could see most of the most important ones. I think JSOR works one, probably works with a lot more stuff, but this is pretty cool that they've added this. Let's move on. So some developments over here on Drift. They promised and they delivered. I mentioned in one of my previous videos that Cindy was talking about creating liquid prediction markets, like poly markets, essentially, on the Solana blockchain. And so they said in a post here on the 27th of July that the rumors are true. Get ready for prediction markets on Solana. So we already have Hedgehog, but this is like Perps. I would say this is like more like poly market perpetuals. So again, FTX had a similar function to this. You could literally long and short presidents and stuff like that in the election and all this sort of thing. So I think they really want to build that functionality, but all on chain. So I think that's really cool. I'm really excited to see how this works, but this is really, really cool. And they've mentioned this and now they are building it. And you can see here, a little video here. What they say is that prediction markets are a source of truth with regards to consensus and prevailing narratives. And they're definitely a good way to get a gauge of overall sentiment, right? So with regards to Drift, Drift is not just a PerpDEX. You know, they're doing the prediction market stuff now, but it's also a money market, right? So this is one thing that I developed, like a little strategy that I developed, because I'm always looking for these Degen DeFi opportunities. So one thing I noticed when I logged into Kamino the other day is that a lot of the borrowing against Sol LSTs, like BSol, HSol, JUPSol, MSol, VSol, for example, is at capacity. Now, I've actually got quite a bit of JUPSol in there, and I can't even use INF as well. I can't borrow against INF at all in Kamino because it has zero LTV. So the loan to value is zero, right? I cannot use it as collateral and borrow against it. And my biggest holding is INF, right? So it's like, what's the deal with this? Like, I can't even use Kamino anymore to wind up my Sol LSTs. I can use Sol, but I don't think there's any edge there, right? Because I want my Sol to be earning its yield from staking and MEV rewards and stuff like that. And you've got additional stuff on JUPSol where they actually bake in additional fees from the usage of Jupiter's platform into the price of JUPSol as well. I want to be able to utilize this and wind it up, right? Be able to borrow stable coins and then deploy them into DeFi. So I developed a strategy in order to take advantage of Drift and its ability to do this. So as I say here, Drift is also a money market, as well as a top tier PerpDEX on Solana. They support as collateral INF, DSol, Jito Sol, MSol, and BSol, with DSol being the Drift Sanctum LST. So it's the Sanctum ecosystem that's facilitated the DSOL. But then we've got Jito Sol and BSOL as well as MSOL. So these are the OGs and these are the newer ones, right? So you can also supply as collateral to borrow against in Drift. You can supply the JLP, right? So that's your Jupiter liquidity pool token, and Cloud as well. And the APR's gone down a fair bit, but it was 91% APR, which is pretty crazy. And the Drift token, of course, which I didn't sell any of my Drift. I just use it all as collateral. I did take a little profit on it, but then I bought it back at a lower price to get more tokens. And then now I'm using even more of it as collateral. But you can borrow against it all in the same pool. So it's not like with Camino where you're limited, right? And you've got like the altcoin pool, and then you've got the main pool, and then you've got the JLP pool. It's all in the same pool, right? So all of these you can supply as collateral and then borrow against it. So the USDT borrow rate at the time of this post was 13.57%. It's probably about the same now. Right now, USDT is 13% to borrow, and wow, USDC is 20% to borrow. So this is for our Perps right here. So I wouldn't borrow this because this is for Perps. And this is what we would borrow the USDC. We would borrow this to use in DeFi. And I've got to borrow on both at the moment. This one is for my Perps position, and this one is for my current strategy that I'm about to show you now. So as I state here, like, it's not just trade, but it's also earn, right? So that's just the whole thing that they're trying to set up. It's now a money market and you can collateralize assets. So for me, this seems like the most attractive option here. Essentially, I've borrowed USDT. As you can see, I had a borrow open. Then convert it to JLP as your first step. So JLP, as you're well aware, I'm hoping by now, is the ultimate savings account. It does ebb and flow with the market. So this is not a short-term strategy. You've got to wait a little bit because it can go up and down with market fluctuations. So as you can see right here, it does go up and down. It does do this, but it's generally a up-only effect. So right here within this period, we've just been going up, really. That's the trajectory. With these little ebbs and flows, you can see it comes down and goes back up, but it's just an up. It's pretty much up only because you can buy and sell it. So it is subjected to market pressure or price pressure. But JLP is a very solid savings account. Since November 17 last year, gone up 129%, which is pretty impressive. So I've converted a bunch of USDT that I borrowed into the JLP, right? As I mentioned. And then now I'm using NX Finance to lever it up for X. So I already did this in a different wallet to the one I've got connected right now, but in another wallet, I think that P&L for that is up a lot. It's up a fair bit actually. So I've actually earned a lot from just doing this on a pretty small amount of capital too, not even that much. So now I've just gone even more Degen on this and I'm going 4x the JLP yield. And also one thing that Drift offers is they do have a market making vault at about 30% APY on top of the 50% from JLP, because 50% is roughly what the JLP is. It was at the time of recording this, but that's an additional 30% by using Drift. But let's focus a bit more on the NX Finance one for now, right? Because that's really what I think is the most attractive option in terms of this DeFi Degen strategy. So in this post, if you go over to my X, I did put my invite code. And if you join me over there, I would suggest that you join the Jussie Sol team because that's who I decided to join, which in my video, I was like, I'm not so sure who I want to join, but yeah. So with this 4x strategy, so 4x times 50% is roughly about 206% yield on the JLP, which is crazy. So there is a borrow percentage, which was about 13%, but you're paying 13%, but you're getting paid about 200%, right? So it's really not a bad deal. Really, when you think about it. And last time I checked, the Jussie Sol NX Finance team has about $207,000 supplied. And the more people add to this pool, you just type this in when it asks you what team you want to join when you sign up. And that way you can join this team here. So you get these team bonuses because these guys are doing an airdrop, right? So this is an airdrop farm as well as a crazy yield boost, essentially. So at the moment, we're at the 15% mark with regards to this JLP wind up. So pretty crazy, right? Pretty crazy. Alternatively, you can also even just deposit that USDT that you borrowed with this Blink and earn, at the time it was 17% on NX Finance. You could do it straight from here within Blinks, which is really cool. But always manage your risk with these DeFi Degen strategies and participate responsibly. But for me, this is like probably the most attractive yield farm at the moment. It looks like the USDT is about 16% roughly at the moment. So yeah. So at least as far as I'm concerned, this is giving Drift even more of a solid use case. Plus you can also farm airdrop with it too, which is really cool. This is definitely like something that requires a bit more time though, admittedly. So, you know, if you put something in there now and the market corrects a bit and the JLP price goes down, well then in the short term, you'll be down. So just consider that as a thing. But for me, based on some of the stuff that I wound up a few months back from this 4x Jupiter LP farm, I think it's pretty crazy. So I think it's pretty good. Again, it's definitely like a lengthened term, not super long term, but a lengthened term strategy. But this is kind of what I'm doing right now to earn more yield on top of my Sol LSTs. So I've got Solana that's earning yield on the LSTs. So that's like 8, 9, 10, 12, whatever percentage it is. And then on top of that, earning JLP yield as well, right? And then 4xing that. So this is very wound up and quite degen, but this is a strategy that I came up with that I thought you might find interesting. So I thought I'd include it in the video. Well, we're talking about Sanctum because INF is, as I said, my biggest holding, and I'm using it to wind up and earn extra, even more yield on top of it. Let's talk a bit about the cloud token. So this is what I love to see. It was on the 26th of July. Saw these massive buys. We've got 300,000, 50,000 USDT, another 50,000. Someone's just buying up all this cloud token, right? So love to see it. Cloud will cement itself as a Solana blue chip, in my opinion, because as you well know, I love Sanctum and what they're working on. Base team of shippers, I see nothing but big things coming, and clearly this whale does too. 400,000 USDT of cloud. It's quite the purchase. I mean, the cloud token's definitely sold up a little, which is going to happen, admittedly, but because I think that the capital allocation is now fully claimable, but I still haven't claimed any of it personally. So at the moment, in terms of my allocation, this is how much I can claim right now based on my capital allocation, and this is how much I can claim based on my earnest allocation. So I got 75 times 2 because I'm going to wait the whole time, and I got 3934. They did adjust some of this, but 3934 based on my capital allocation. So I don't plan on claiming this. You can quite clearly see I've not claimed it, and I will not claim it. You can claim it in about 11 hours though for the capital allocation, I believe. And for the earnest allocation, we still have 5 months, right? So if you got an earnest allocation, that's how long you have to wait. But here's the post that I was just like absolutely flabbergasted by my allocation. Again, 4,000 it was, but it's a little less, and 75,000. And again, that's times 2. So that's like 157,000 tokens. So I'll let you do the calculation on how much that is. I think it's about 22 cents right now, about 30 cents for quite a while, but I think it's being sold off now by the people claiming the capital allocation, just like a day prematurely. But you know, it's going to happen, especially with the market correcting now as it is. But this is what my post of appreciation. I just thought I would go into it a little bit here in this video because, I mean, it's well deserved. After they've given me such a massive airdrop, I'm like, well, all I can say is thank you to the Sanctum team. Like literally, this from the bottom of my heart, I thank them for this. And it's testament to it truly rewarding the earnest from a team who live by example. What do I mean by that? Because they are incredibly earnest. They've done so much work for this airdrop and for their platform, and they just keep building all this really cool stuff. The sheer number of hours, though, that would have gone into finding the earnest is truly remarkable for an airdrop alone. Like scraping to find meaningful and helpful contributions on X, Discord, and even YouTube, I'd say. And the reason why I say that is because, well, they didn't mention YouTube too much. They said it a couple of times in some of the calls, but I think a lot of what I did that probably contributed to useful information on Sanctum would have been right here on YouTube. But I spent well over an hour all up, I would say, on my videos covering Sanctum, deep diving on what it's all about, including going over docs that I created, as you well know if you watch my videos, from notes that I take in the live streams and posting airdrop information and some updates here on X. But my goal was always to bring people in with the updates on the airdrop, as I know it brings new users who wish to try and get their hands on one, but further educate on the project, its vision, and its true potential, in hopes that they see how big it is, as I do. So it's kind of like a come for the airdrop and stay for the vision, stay for the tech. It's the future of France after all. So future of finance. If you're in crypto, you know this meme. The future of France. So most of my earnestness was not out of expectation of an airdrop, because we had no idea that it was going to happen. It was just because I truly believe Sanctum has real potential to be a staple in the vast and innovative Solana ecosystem. And big shout outs to all the team who went above and beyond over the years, and it's onwards and upwards, really. At the end of the day, like the airdrop is just one thing, but it's just the beginning, right? It's just the beginning of another chapter. I'm super excited to see what comes next after the launch is complete. The earnest shall build our new world. So there you go. This post blew up, admittedly. But yeah, this was pretty cool. And a lot of people were posting what they earned as well, which is really nice to see. And actually one thing I really loved, was this post here on X. This guy's apparently only 17, and they allocated him 175,000 tokens, which is absolutely amazing for a 17-year-old, right? So at the time of the airdrop was 30 cents. That's 175 times 2. If he waits the whole amount of time for the allocation, at the time of the drop it was about 30 cents. It's 105,000 US dollars. That is absolutely amazing. That's like kind of life-changing money, right? Really, let's be honest. That's life-changing money for 17-year-old. So I really hope for this guy here, who obviously did a lot of work to earn that, Maggle Darren, that by the time he can claim his tokens, he can at least take a little profit at around that 30 cent mark. Would be quite nice. Again, we're like another 5 months away, but you know, it's up to him. He can just claim this now if he wants to and go from there. But yeah, I mean, that's amazing. A 17-year-old getting a $105,000 allocation for an airdrop. Absolutely big ups. Absolute big ups to this Maggle Darren. Obviously did enough work to warrant that. So I feel like this is a feel good story, like really, when you see stuff like this. And we'll just go over a couple of things that FP Lee posted, or Soul Economist. So these are some things that he and the team want to build after TG. Well, TG is live now, right? So we've got Sanctum Launchpad. So Sanctum Launchpad is how the Sanctum community can kickstart the on-chain economy using LSTs to support new projects, real products we all want to see. So that's really, really cool. I think projects can use LSTs as a way to get working capital so they can deliver on their dreams. So Pathfinders, for example, is a team that have created Path Sol and yields to fund developments of a never before seen free NFT mint. Also, we've got here this drink, which is Floyo or Floho or Flojo. I don't know however you want to pronounce it. But wants to create an energy drink that's actually really good for you, taking the money that would otherwise go to buying ads from Web 2 incumbents and giving it back to its customers. So that's pretty cool. Mango and yuzu. It's that Japanese fruit, citrus fruit. So I mean, there's a whole bunch of examples here which are really cool. They've mentioned a whole bunch as well, and I think CardSol will be one of the coolest. We'll go into that in a second. We've got profiles too. So profiles will be composable, social, and loyal layer on Solana. We'll let everyone set up their own personal LST, much like FP Sol. This lets everyone monetize their work in a way they want. So influencers, artists, whoever, whatever you are, you know, you can have private Discord or Telegram chats are just the tip of the iceberg. With Blinks, you can write posts on Sanctum profiles, Twitter, or any other website. People can view only if they hold your LST. So how cool is that? Like Centcoin, right? You'll be able to use profiles to find your biggest fans and reward them with drops. Now that's really, really cool. I think that's really cool, right? If you're a content creator. Now this is the biggest one. I think this is really cool. I think it's probably the strongest right now, I think for most people, is Sanctum Pay. So they're also working with the base DApp HQ, which at the moment only works in Singapore, as far as I'm aware. I did try to set it up, but it can only work in Singapore at the moment. But to build the first ever LSD-powered debit card. Like, how cool is that? So never need an op-ramp again, just hold CardSol and the staking yields will be converted into USDC, which can be then spent directly via the debit card. So pay for anything without ever touching your soul bags again. How cool is that? So this is why I'm super bullish on Sanctum, and they're doing a lot of cool stuff. And I'm very excited to see what they do going forward. Not just because I got a crazy airdrop, but literally the reason why I did what I did with them is because I love the product. I think it's an amazing DApp, and I think they're really going to be a blue chip within the Solana ecosystem. I'm very excited to see what they do going forward. But also just another PSA, they say, hey folks, just a very important announcement. We don't have the Unstake.it domain anymore. It's come to their knowledge that a random entity has taken control of it, and it's potentially a scam phishing website now. So please do not use that. So just keep that in mind. I don't know if you know about that or not, but just, yeah, don't go to this website and use it, is all I'm going to say. Just do not connect your wallet to it. So let's move on. So if you are one of Solana's daily active users swapping like wild, this new feature on Jupiter Exchange is going to be incredibly helpful to keep track of it all. So here we go. We've got Jupiter Spot combining swaps, orders, charts, and trade history in one easy to use interface. So there you go. So we've got Jupiter Spot. It'll be Jupiter Spot, Perps, and App. So here we go. It's live. Last time I checked, it wasn't up and running, but here we go. We've got swap, limit, DCA, and VA. So we bring this up. You can see some, well, that's showing some of my transactions. Anyway, whatever. So you can see some of your transactions and stuff like that here, which is really, really handy to keep track of everything that you've been doing within the Solana ecosystem. So that's cool. We've got Perps. So we've got limit order. So you can bring up your chart there for limit orders, which is cool. I've got another Moo sell order in, but yeah, I've just got some random limit orders, Mother, Mao. You can see what meme coins I hold. Anyway, I won't reveal too much, but yeah, so you got your limit orders. So that's where you can do your charting between any pair. DCAs, you got your DCAs that are in. I've got nothing active right now. Value average, all that sort of stuff. And then you got Perps, the Perps trading platform, which is really, really cool. Which I don't personally use, I use Drift, but yeah, because I like limit orders, so that's why I prefer that. But this is the JLP, which is actually at 74% right now. So I mentioned before it's 50%, now it's 74%. And then we've got Ape, which is their new meme coin trading platform, which will automatically, especially for new tokens, it will automatically keep attempting a purchase until it can fill the order. Because one thing when you go through a swap platform, you get stale Oracle prices, you know, you're talking about massive slippage a lot of the time, like 3%, because, you know, especially new tokens, they move so wildly with regards to price action. Well, this Ape platform will allow you to buy, especially new meme coins and new tokens, and it will just keep trying to buy them until it fills. So it's really, really cool. Definitely a platform that's worth checking out. You just have to connect, set a password, and you can search for tokens down here. And yeah, so if you're wanting to trade Solana meme coins, this is one way to do it. And it also ties into Birdeye, which I'll show a little bit more in a second. So Jupiter is absolutely that one-stop shop, plus you get the launch pad, governance, all that sort of stuff as well. So Jupiter's absolutely amazing, right? So we all well know. So that's really cool. Now, if you haven't claimed your Jupiter, as I mentioned at the start of the video, I think that's pretty much now done. So hopefully you have gone and claimed your Jupiter 31st of July at 3 p.m. UTC. So there you go. I don't know if you can claim anymore by the time you watch this video, but if you didn't, then I don't think you can anymore. So hopefully you did claim your Jupe. So let's move on. So we've got Jito restaking. If you're familiar with the Ethereum restaking narrative, we've got the restaking narrative building out on Solana as well. So a next-gen infrastructure platform. So Jupiter Foundation is excited to release the code for Jito restaking, hybrid staking, restaking, and LRT. So that's liquid restaking. How cool is that? Module. Let's dive in. So they've got the documentation here, which I won't go into in full detail. So they've got the restaking has two components, the Vault program and restaking program, right? Together, they create scalable infrastructure for managing staked assets built with AVSs in mind. The Vault program manages liquid restaking tokens, or LRTs, which I've covered in depth in previous videos before, which is really, really cool. So think of like LSTs on Sanctum, for example, or just liquid stake tokens. LRTs is essentially where you take a liquid stake token, it takes the LST, deploys it into DeFi on Solana, and the DeFi yield is rebased into the token price, right? So that's our concept, right? So the idea of that would be, say, for example, say you take Jito Sol, say, for example, it's deposited into Drift to earn yield, right? And then that earns yield, right, in Drift. And then what happens is we have a LRT. So that's the LRT of Solana, right? So we've got Jito Sol. Essentially, the yield from the Drift, for example, or anything, right? Anything on the Solana blockchain, whatever it distributes it into, that yield is then baked into the Sol of the price of the LRT. So you get the yield from the LST. So you get the LST, so that staking yield's baked into the price of Jito Sol. So it's price of Sol plus the staking yield baked into Jito Sol. And then that's deployed into something like Drift or any other DeFi application on Solana, Camino, whatever. That yield is then earned on top of Jito Sol, right? And then that's put into the price of the LRT. So it's staking yield plus DeFi yield baked in and rebased into an LRT. So that's I think that's pretty cool, right? So I think that's pretty cool. Hopefully that makes sense. And I think that that's something that we'll probably start to see also Sanctum do as well with their infinite LST ecosystem. So Jito is taking the lead on this one. And I really do think that we'll probably see something similar to that within Sanctum as well. So there you go. Pretty cool stuff, I reckon. I thought this was cool. Now, this is already on Ethereum, admittedly, and you can pay in Binance Smart Chain like BSC and some of the EVM chains as well. But the first sovereign ID on Solana as the island nation of Palau creates the RNS ID digital residency on Solana. So this is the first sovereign nation to create an ID that is mintable on the Solana blockchain. So it's currently on the Ethereum blockchain as well. So it's not brand new, like, you know, it's not like this has never been done before, but now you can mint it on the Solana blockchain as well. So the DID can be minted as like an NFT on Solana blockchain. Really cool stuff. So Palau have noticed that Solana is here to stay. It's a blue chip, and have decided that Solana can also host these NFTs for their DIDs as well. So that's pretty cool. And I have to say, they look really nice. Just the package alone, it comes in with like a wax seal. Even the letter that it comes in, it looks really, really nice. So everything about it is just like really, really nice. So I think it's pretty cool. And I don't know, personally, I thought it was worth getting just for fun, but that's a thing you can get now and mint the DID on Solana. Mine's minted on Ethereum, but this came after I got it. So I was like, I could have like got this on Solana the whole time. That's why I said I actually paid for it on the BNB chain. But it's still really cool. And, you know, if it's something that you're interested in, then, you know, you can give it a crack. It's not cheap, but I thought it was pretty cool. So that's why I decided to get one myself. Also, we've got the Eclipse Foundation. Here we go. We've got the Eclipse Foundation finally launching its mainnet for developers. So it's the DevNet, I would say, more than anything else. But Eclipse is a layer 2 for Ethereum that uses the Solana virtual machine. So there you go. So Zeus, you know, is looking to build the layer 2 for Bitcoin using the SVM, essentially. And now we're looking at Solana's SVM being used as a layer 2 for Ethereum as well. So that's pretty cool. I think I've covered these guys in the past because I was already following them. But that just goes to show the extra adoption even for SVM used as an L2 for Ethereum. So I think that's pretty cool. Also mentioned before, there is an extension for Ape that sits in and works with Birdeye. So here's it working in action. So you can literally use Birdeye as your chart, and then you can use the Ape platform to trade on the side. So that's connected to your wallet in Ape, and then you can just use Birdeye essentially. And you can see it copies across. You can see it transferring information across from the extension, which is really, really cool. It'd be better if this was actually built into Birdeye as an option, but yeah, we'll have to wait. Look at this chart, the hell? Oh, it's a 15-minute chart. Anyway, you can see it working in action. It's pretty cool, I think. Also, another thing with regards to Jupiter Exchange, they are looking to announce CatPad, which is a product designed to create better alignment for meme coin launches. And my comment on this is, make memes great again. Jupiter Exchange's PPP model, which is player pump player, not player versus player, model could be exactly what we need to get there. So that's pretty cool. They're going to do the CatPad, which is another launch pad. LFG has been really good. So this will be really cool as well, I think. And while we're on the topic of meme coins, I think I mentioned Mumu all the way back in March, and it put in a 2000% wick from when I bought it. So I didn't buy the absolute lows, admittedly, but it went up 2000%. Unfortunately, my limit order didn't hit, so that was kind of annoying, but doesn't really matter. As I say here, that would have been epic if it did. 2000% is always the target, at least for me, when it comes to meme coins. That's what I aim for. I mean, it's a moon or doom, right? It's moon or doom. But nevertheless, will we fill the wick? We never know, right? Mumu's been doing the rounds on X a lot lately. And obviously someone saw it and was just like, all right, I'm just going to buy this thing. Send it to Valhalla. That went absolutely parabolic, but it got maybe some limit orders hit or something like that. I don't really know what happened here to create this massive wick. But yeah, it was just a huge buy, I think. Price action is still up, but with corrections. So it's doing some choppy thing right now. On the daily, it's doing this by the looks of things. Also, we had a new platform launch called Dumpy.Fun. So we've got Pump.Fun, which is the green pill. That's the logo there. Now we've got Dumpy.Fun. So it allows users to short meme coins, and they added the ability to do it from blinks on X. So if you like the idea of shorting meme coins, which will probably create upside liquidity as well for more upside potential for memes. If you are looking to short meme coins, if you see that they're in a structural downtrend in that perpetual bleed phase, you can actually make money from that finally. So there you go. It's pretty cool. I think that just about wraps it up. This is a big video, so I think I should call it there because it's been a while since I've done a Solana ecosystem video. So I think it's definitely a good time to call it. Hopefully you liked the video. If you did, then please give the video a like and subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this. Go follow me on X if you want more of this alpha in real time before I can do a video on it. And drop a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of today's video. And hopefully I'll see you on the next one. This is Kryptolytix signing out. Have a good one.